Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Show You the Business with your host and 10x profitability coach, Joanne Leasure. Today's special guest is John Soto, VP of Mortgage Lending at Guaranteed Rate, a national mortgage lending firm helping first time homebuyers and seasoned real estate investors alike to get the best and the highest level of service and best rates, of course. Now, John is also a seasoned real estate investor in his own right and will be sharing with you his journey in real estate investing and how you can get started if you want to use real estate as a tool to create generational wealth for you and your family. John will be discussing how much you really need as a down payment for a house, FHA loans, and other hacks that will allow you to invest with ease and make substantial profits. Now, as always, if you like today's episode, please be sure to give us a like and leave a comment to let us know your favorite part of the conversation. Also, be sure to tap that subscribe bell to get notifications when the next episode airs. And as always, thank you for listening or watching. Now enjoy the show.
All righty. So we're here with John Soto, Guaranteed Rate. John and I are actually in the same BNI. And so that's how we met. But John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the finance industry for about 7 years now. I love it. I actually started investing in multifamily for myself. So I've noticed how real estate has definitely changed my life. So I got into the real estate world, first investing, then I got into the mortgage lending aspect because everyone started asking me, hey, how did you buy that multifamily? How did you do this? How did you do that? So I took that demand that was there and I went to get my license to help my community and the family around me to start building their generational wealth. Because I was actually living in one of my units rent-free. So I was actually using that money to save up and purchase the next property and just start building that generational wealth for my family.
Yep.
And people kept requesting. So when I got my license, about 5 years now, and just kept building the portfolio as I went. I was able to utilize FHA, which is a first-time home buyer, and put a low down payment, 3.5%, and able to purchase a 3-family home. And I was able to rent and repeat and use that a few times, as well as my fiance at the time, wife now. We divided and conquer. So she bought hers, I bought mine, lived in it for a year, because technically you have to live in the property for a year because it's your primary residence. So people have to keep that in mind. And once we had the equity, we refinanced, rinsed and repeat, and was able to build our portfolio that way.
Awesome. And the fact is, I could imagine people wanting to know, because you were pretty young when you started. You're in your 20s when you're buying your first home, and not only just the first home, but the first multifamily home. So I could imagine people wanting to know more. How many people do you think you've helped in all of this time?
That's tough to say. I would probably say over 100 families by now.
Wow, that's massive.
Yeah.
That's massive. So before we get into more of the financing, because I know that's your real, that's your jelly, so to speak. I want to know what's your experience with having renters. How has it gone for you?
So there's ups with any business, there's ups and downs. A lot of people steer away from like renting and landlord because they think I don't want to clean toilets, or I don't want to get calls at 2 in the morning or anything like that. So there's definitely been ups and downs. I don't want people to think it's all smooth sailing or anything like that. I've had a lot of horror stories, of course, but I would say there's been bad, but the good has always overcame the bad.
Right.
So the first week when we closed on the house, I actually was being cheap for whatever reason. I'm gonna give just one horror story.
Go ahead, please.
I went upstairs and it was in the middle of winter.
Okay.
I turned off the heating on the third and the second floor. Like, I'm not paying for this heat. What am I doing? First time homeowner, not familiar with any of this. Went to Walmart with the missus, came back, and she hears water running. She's like, what is that noise? She went to the room, and water coming down, because we moved into the first floor. Water was coming down one of our closets, ran upstairs, pipe burst.
Oh, wow. How cold was it?
It was I think it was the day after Christmas. It was cold. I think it was
Cold.
the single digits,
Okay.
especially with no heat coming in. And yeah, so I've learned throughout, don't be cheap because it's
Mhm.
gonna pay in the long run.
Right.
So don't try to cut corners. Do it the right way the first time. If not, you're gonna just keep doing it.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. So with that said, and the horror stories that you've gone through, if I was your buyer, should I buy a single or a multifamily house as my first home?
So everyone is different, of course. I try. I will always say multifamily, but it
Okay.
just depends on your situation.
Okay.
Because some people are more prone to risk, some people are more prone to investments,
Hmm.
others don't want to be bothered,
Hmm.
others may panic and have anxiety attacks. Most of the times I can just be cool, calm, and collective and just figure out the issue, get it resolved, move on to the next step. If you're more of an anxious person, maybe you can have a property manager take care of it for you.
Yeah.
I would rather prefer the ins and out of property management before you hire someone,
Okay.
because you're not gonna know if someone is gonna do right by you.
Gotcha.
So I would always say multi first if you can, and then your single family home. Because if you want to flip it around and get your single first, then a multi for investment
Yeah.
purposes, you will need to put a lot higher down payment.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. That's good advice. One thing I've had my home since about 20 years now, and it's a single family. And what I'm realizing after, kicking the kids out, so to speak, they're nice and grown, is I don't use half this house. I don't use more than half this house. I use probably two or three rooms. So one thing I've learned over these 20 years and just being a single family owner is that a house is definitely a hobby, right? Because you have to have the time to put in it to really live. And you know, it's not making me any money. I wouldn't call it my best investment ever. It's like, I'm not making any money off of it. I'm just kind of pouring money into it. Maybe I'll make money on it when I sell it, but maybe not. Right. I know a lot of people. I mean, can you tell us a story about maybe somebody that you know, or even yourself, where you've lost money on a property?
Personally, I haven't, think knock on wood.
Uh-huh.
But in regards to, the market's been on fire for many years now. But I
Mhm.
know I've spoken to a lot of people that during the 07, 08 crash, they definitely lost a good amount of money
Yeah.
because they were getting greedy, they were being over leveraged. But when you turn it around, a lot of people actually made a lot of money right after that, because once after the crash, everything goes down, some things go up. So
Right.
during that time period after the crash, a lot of people made a ton of money. So it's always good not to stretch your budget, not
Yeah.
to over leverage yourself, understand what you're getting into, and hit the ground running.
Yeah. I gotcha. I understand. Okay. All right. My next question. Do I need 20% to put down on a home?
No, no, you don't. No, you do not.
No. Okay.
Because
So here's the jelly. Tell me all about it. What do I need?
if you're a first time home buyer, you can buy a home with as little as 3.5% down FHA, and you can get up to 4 units. So let's say a house costs, let's say 400,000.
Okay.
Down payment would be 14,000,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be a multifamily home. Three and a
Mm.
half percent. That's not too bad. But if you go and buy your single family home first, and then want to buy that $400,000 home,
Yeah.
that down payment then becomes 25%, which is a
Ah.
huge difference. It could be
Yes.
to 100,000 instead of the 14,000.
Gotcha. Why is that? Why would it go up? I don't understand.
So basically, FHA is a primary residence. So who's gonna believe if you're moving from a single family home to a 4-unit home? You have all the privacy in the world. Now you want to live with tenants. So it comes into like occupancy fraud. Like you're not really gonna live in that home. You're gonna rent it all out and stay in a single family house.
I see. I
That's
gotcha.
behind it. That's why you need to buy the 4-unit or maybe a 3-unit, then a 2-unit, and then your single family house.
Interesting. So there's a strategy to all
4,
of
3,
this.
2, 1 rule. Yep.
4, 3, 2, 1. Now, where did you learn all this, John? You gotta tell me.
I like YouTube. I love Bigger Pockets. I love reading books. Rich Dad Poor Dad was probably one of the very first books that got me into the real estate space.
Okay.
I love reading and connecting and networking with people, and then you learn as you go.
Awesome.
Personal
Awesome.
experience.
Awesome. Now, I'm a big 10Xer. I'm a Grant Cardone licensee. Absolutely. You're looking for something.
Next, you can see it right here.
I can see
Growth
executive seats at
Growth
GrowthCon.
Con.
Awesome. Awesome. GrowthCon's coming up again.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah. So, I definitely thought that was awesome that you are definitely in Grant Cardone's world for sure. And you loving, is there anything particular that you love about the way he does real estate?
Go big or go home. 10X everything. Why think small? I love the energy. I love that philosophy. I love that motto. It's
absolutely take massive action. Take massive action for sure. For sure. All right. So back to the FHA. Can I use the FHA loan more than once?
So technically, yes. You cannot have 2 FHA loans at the same time unless they're 100 miles away from each other. So if they are, you can technically, if you have the equity, you can refinance to a conventional loan. And that's what we did with a 3-family. And then that frees up your FHA. And we went out and bought a 2-family.
Okay, awesome. All right. And right now is now a good time to buy a home. I know that the prices are fluctuating, but we don't know. And I hear recession's coming. What are your thoughts?
So people have been saying that for probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years now, that there's going to be a crash. There's going to be this. I don't foresee a crash now, or because supply and demand. So there's not enough supply. Demand is still there. Rates have been going up in the past year, and people are still out there buying.
Yes.
They're getting more creative, maybe getting a cosigner, higher down payment, but people are still buying. So what I tell my clients, if you're ready and able now, yes, buy.
Okay.
You can get some negotiations. You can get some seller's credit, which you weren't able to maybe a year, 2 years ago because too much demand. Now you can get some negotiation, maybe a little lower price, maybe some money back at closing. And then once the rates do go down, refinance.
Yeah, awesome. That's an awesome strategy. Love it. Love it. Now, Mr. 10Xer, including myself, and Grant once said something that I thought was really interesting. He said, if you really want to make money, go into real estate. But what are the benefits of real estate? Tell our audience.
Oh, benefits, cash flow, like Grant Cardone says, cash flow is king.
Yes.
So real estate over time always goes up. Appreciation. And the funny thing is about that is there's a huge tax benefit. While your real estate goes up, you can use something called depreciation, which decreases your taxable income. So that's huge. Rents go up over time. So you can increase the rent on tenants over time. That increases your cash flow. What other benefits? There's just a ton of benefits. Instead of doing depreciation, you could do something called cost segregation, and you reduce your taxable income even more. Let's see, depreciation, cash flow. Those are my top 3.
Awesome. And I know you had the 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, was it? Is that how it went? I love that. What's your goal? How many doors do you want to ultimately own?
I want to be like Grant Cardone.
That's an excellent answer. He's got 5 billion in real estate assets right now. So we're in 2023. So I know you'll get there. Massive action. Brent says that if we do everything that he does and we don't quit, we'll get the same results as him. I believe that. I believe that.
I agree.
Well,
I agree as well.
this was awesome. John, tell us how we can get in touch with you, especially for any real estate questions, since you want to help the community, and any help with our mortgages.
Of course. So I'm licensed in about 8 states, but my bank is licensed in all 50 states. So technically I can help anyone, but I'm in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Florida, Texas, and a few other states. How you can find me: Instagram, John Does Real Estate, JONDOESREALESTATE. John Does Real Estate, no H. Actually, you can. I'm on all platforms. That's what the name: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can go to my website, rate.com/JONSOTO. You can find information there. My phone number is there. You can always reach out to me. I love networking and connecting with people and try to help them build their generational wealth, which real estate has helped me a lot so far. And I can't wait to see how much more is going to help me and my family.
Awesome. And we wish you luck, especially in getting the community up and running with real estate, since we know that it's such a big thing and we can make some money out of it. So, it's perfect. It's perfect. Well, John, thanks again. Our YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and we are also on Apple Podcasts. Awesome. So this was Show You the Business with John Soto from Guaranteed Rate and Joanne Leasure from Day One Accounting. And as Grant always says, make it a 10X day. All right.
Pleasure speaking with you as always.
Thanks, John.